and we would
Uh-huh.
go and invest in the tax sale auction. And then we had partners and investors in our company that would partner with us and buy the property. So at first I was just doing our due diligence and all that good stuff. We would go on the auctions. I'd go and look at the houses. But then I like doing that stuff, but it wasn't really for me. So I got to go to the marketing side of
Mm.
the company. And so I started doing a little bit of market analysis, started building some sales funnels, doing some email campaigns and stuff like that. So I got a lot of really good experience in my like a little bit over a year there.
Oh,
So
good, good. Are
yeah,
you a baseball player now at Laverne?
yes, I am.
Geez, I should have known that off the top of my head because I was at your golf tournament. And have I met you before?
You've probably met me once or twice, just
Yeah, I
being around.
apologize.
I'm a transfer student, so
Right.
I'm still fairly new, not
What
even two
position?
semesters in.
What
I'm a
position do you
center
play?
fielder.
Center fielder. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about the end of your season. That sucks.
Yeah,
That's not good. But it again, you build on that experience, and we'll go forward on that. I know you guys are going to have a good team this year, and you're going to be losing a lot of good seniors, but I think you got a lot of good players like yourself coming up, and I think it's positive for the future. We just got to get this virus thing taken care of so we can get back to normal routine, right?
right. Yeah, I feel everything happens for a reason. So, I mean, you can look at it as like a negative thing, but I mean, I try to take the best out of it. I mean, I think of it as like I got a little head start, and I haven't really started my career here at Laverne. Still got 2 more years to
Sure.
play, so I got a little bit of like a half year head start to get accustomed to the
Yeah.
culture and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I think that's a good. That's good. Um, so you're a business administration major. So you're a junior or a sophomore?
I'm a junior.
Junior. Okay. So you'll have. I'll probably have you or see you in our business integrated business program
Yep,
next
I'll be
year.
taking it
Probably.
in the fall.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that'll be good. Um, so you're. I'm just looking at your resume because I had a series of questions I wanted to ask you. What business courses do you enjoy? Do you like marketing? Do you like finance? Do you like
I,
accounting? Or is it kind of still too early to tell? But what so far, what do you like in business?
I haven't had a chance to take a marketing class yet. I really want to take that, but I
Okay.
really like finance. I haven't taken like a finance class, but I like the idea of like what you would do, like raising capital and all
Hmm.
that stuff. Like that really interests me. So I can't like I'm super excited to take the integrated business course next or program next semester.
Have
So
you
I'm
picked?
excited to.
Have you been able to pick a class yet or a professor?
No, I have not.
Okay, that'll be
I
coming
have
up.
to. Yeah, I have to pay my tuition.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm on a payment plan, and I'm trying to get money together so I can I pay it and then sign up
I
for my
hear you
class.
about that. Well, I hope that works out. I hope that
Yeah, it'll
works out.
work out. But so far, I mean, my favorite classes that I've taken in the business like area has been econ. Honestly, I had a really good professor at RCC. I took him for macro and microeconomics, and he really opened my mind to that. And
Good, good.
since then, I've really been interested in that.
Wonderful. Okay, Patrick, that's good. So, what type of career would you think? It's early. I know it's early. When I was a junior in college, I had no clue what the hell I was going to be doing. All right,
Right.
but it's early. But what are you looking at? If I was an interviewer from a company that you'd be interested in, where would I be? What industry would I be in?
I would say the sports industry. I'm
Mm,
really sports minded. So I mean, anywhere if I can get a job doing something like anywhere in the business world in any sports industry, I love sports. As my resume says, I work for the Agua Caliente Clippers doing
yeah,
scoreboard and shot clock, and I've had the opportunity to actually work for the LA Clippers and also LAFC doing the scoreboards for them. So I mean, just to see what goes on in the background in the business world behind those professional sports has really intrigued me.
that'd be excellent. If you could get an internship with the Clippers or an internship with the Lakers or an internship out here in Ontario with the Ontario Reign, the hockey team,
Hmm.
that would be great if you could do something like that. And if you need any help on that, you let me know. I might be able to help you on that.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I'll definitely let you know. I've worked for the Agua Caliente Clippers for 3 years, and I built some really good relationships there. So I think once I get my degree, I'll have an ability
good,
to at least get an interview with them because
good.
they love
That's
me there. So
that's good. Well, now I got to ask you the typical interview questions.
okay,
But that's good to go through that process. One of the things about a job interview, even if it's on Zoom, is that you're trying to represent yourself to fit into the culture and what the company you're interviewing with is. I'm
Right.
looking for a person that fits my culture, fits my type of business. You could be, an English major, but I still might hire you because you're a good fit with my company. I'm sure when you work with your various jobs and with the Aguante, the Clippers team in Ontario, uh, the best atmosphere to work in is where you're fit in well with the environment. You fit in well with the work. And that's what the interview process is. The resume that you prepare unlocks the door,
Right.
but it's the presentation and the interview and the relationship that develops. That's how you get the job. And even more so going into the future. And Patrick, you know this, I don't have to tell you this. It's going to be tough finding jobs. It's,
Yeah.
right now we got 25 million Americans, probably more than that, but 25 million Americans who are out of work and who in the next couple of months are going to be trying to get back into the workforce. And here you're going to be a junior, senior in college. You're getting ready to be in the workforce and you got to compete with all that.
Right.
So how do you compete with that? You get your education, you develop skills, you understand what your passion is, and you go with it. And that's exactly the path you should do, and that's what you're doing, and that's a good thing. What do you consider, Patrick, your weaknesses, things that you have to work on?
Things that I have to work on, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better over the years, is just like being in difficult situations that I know are going to be like awkward conversations. Like when I first started doing the real estate stuff, we had to go knock on people's doors and tell them
Mm,
that they're losing their house to the tax sale. So that was a really big challenge to me, because like I feel like one of my quality traits is my empathy for other people. So I can like put myself in their other shoes. So I mean, like I would go up to the door and I'd be nervous because I'd be thinking about how I would feel if I was in that situation. So
sure.
I'd say my biggest weakness is like being too empathetic sometimes and psyching myself out, making myself nervous, thinking of how other people think. But being forced to having to go knock on people's doors and tell them that they're losing their house, and we have the ability to save them, or not save them, but help them out.
Yeah, yeah.
That really helped me grow my biggest weakness, because I was, as a kid, I was a really shy kid. I had to have a hard time asking a waiter for like ketchup or stuff like that. I was just
Yeah,
super shy, but or doing something like this would have psyched me out when I was like a younger college kid. But now, just from all the experience that I've gotten, I feel like I've made my weakness a strength. So I've been
that's
able
good.
to step up and be able to talk and not over psych myself out.
That's a good answer. How has being in team sports, baseball, whatever, how has that helped you in your studies, your personality, your outlook, your development as a person in the workplace? How has being in team sports helped you?
It's helped me out tremendously. I mean, I've learned something new from all the coaches that I've been with, all the teams I've been on. I mean, specifically now with Coach Winterburn, he's taught me a ton in my 6 months, 7 months that I've been here. Just like something like as little as showing up on time onto the interview. Like we have a rule, we have to be everywhere we go 10 minutes early, and that's really resonated on me. Just being there, being early, and being prepared. So I think the biggest thing being on team sports has helped me is with being prepared for everything, being punctual, which is part of being prepared. And I think the biggest thing that comes out of that would be like building teamwork and being able to adapt to situations that aren't necessarily stacked to my favor,
Hmm. Hmm.
and being able to fit in, like what you said, like in the culture. Like I feel like I do a really good job at molding myself to fit in whatever culture I'm in. I feel like that's one of my strengths.
Good. That's a good answer. That leads into my next area is um, being a baseball player. If you bat 300, you're a successful baseball hitter. But
Right.
that's getting a hit one out of three, 4 times. That's you're failing 3 times, 2 times. How do you handle failure, Patrick? How do you handle, like, do you take a loss hard, or do you take, like, you go up to somebody's door and say, by the way, you're losing your house, and they'll give you the F word and tell you to get out of here. How do you handle failure? How does that affect you, and do you use it as a positive, or does it sit with you for a long time and sometimes can be a negative? How do you handle failure?
I'd say it'd be both. I mean, I love to be successful. I strive every day to be successful with what I do. And failure, I mean, it sucks, but everybody has to deal with it. And the best people in the world deal with failure and make it a positive. And I think playing baseball especially has taught me that failure is part of life. And if you can't fail and get back up and then continue, you're not going to be successful. So baseball, especially, I mean, you fail 7 times out of 10 and you're an all-star, you know, you're a Hall of Famer. So I'd say the best way, the way I deal with failure is not to look at the results, but look at the process that you're doing with. So if you went up to the plate and you hit the ball as hard as you could, but it was right at somebody, like, you can't be upset that you're out. You have to be content with the process that you went through in order to get that, in order to
Very
make
good.
that happen.
Very, very good. Okay, good. Well, one of the things about being in sports, in the sports world, not so much as an athlete, but being in sports business, is it's very competitive, like anything else. A lot of people want to work in sports.
Right.
And how would you sell yourself to go work for a sports franchise? How would you present yourself? What could you offer a sports team as far as work, and how could you bring value to somebody that you're looking for a job with? How would you explain that?
I mean, it's sports is just like the business world. Like, you have to fit into the culture. Sorry, you have to be able to work hard. You have to put in the extra hours. You know, I feel like as I've grown up through college, I've realized that if you're just putting in the bare minimum, it's not going to be enough. And in the sports industry, the people that are the most successful are the people that put the most effort into their work, the most due diligence and all that stuff. And I feel like I'm very good at that. Like, when I first started playing baseball, I would just go to practice. I would just go to the games, you know, and I was successful. I was always talented as a kid, and that got me by. But once I got to college, I really realized that you can be as talented as you want, but if you're not working as hard as everybody else, you're going to fall behind. And that goes into the sports industry, into the business industry and everything. So I feel like, for me, one of my best qualities is how hard I work. And I feel like that carries over and sells itself.
Sure. Good. Okay, good. Um, what don't you like when you work for the Clippers? What don't you like about the job? What disappoints you about the job, or if anything?
What disappoints me is their lack of organization. Sometimes,
Oh,
like, I'll be there and we need the clock, and it's not there. It's not set up before we get there, or something happens and the person I need to go find to go fix something isn't readily available, and that's their one job. So I think the biggest thing I don't like about that is not like the disorganization. I feel like they can step up on that part a lot.
surprising. Wow. Okay. Okay. Now here's a question that maybe not is always asked in a first job interview, but it's always asked in the second one, and something that you should prepare for. And it's the big question of, all right, Patrick, you're thinking about coming to work for us. What would be your salary expectations? How much money would you like to make? What do you expect to make in a salary in this position? What do you think?
I would think starting off, I'd want definitely a competitive salary. You know, I would do my research for whatever job I'm getting to look up what the average or mean salary is for that industry. And I would definitely ask to be competitive to start off, and then have the ability to work towards bonuses and raises upon my performance. So
Excellent.
not
Go
just
ahead.
given to me, like, not saying, oh, I've been here for 2 months, I deserve a raise, but upon my performance, if I do good, then I get the opportunity to get a raise. It's not just given to me. I'm not a person that likes to have stuff given to me.
Okay. I think the key part, that's an excellent answer, but the key thing is also, once you say you've done some research, then you should say, well, I'm expecting $50,000 to $60,000 range, or I'm looking at 45 to 55. You give them a range of numbers, because
Okay.
there's nothing worse than, two things could go wrong with an answer. You could say, oh yeah, I think I should get $100,000 a year. Next thing you know, the interview's over, you're out the door. No way
Right.
am I going to pay a first-time employee $100,000. But secondly, if you say, I'm expecting, because I know what I need to be, I have bills and I know where I'm living in Southern California, I'm expecting to make $45,000 to $55,000, and if I'm in that range, I'm comfortable, and you'll get a good employee, because a lot of times people say, oh, I'll take a job, just pay me anything, and they get paid $35,000. At
Right.
6
They're
months into the
underpaid.
job, 6 months into the job, they're looking for a new job. They're not going to
Right.
stick around because 35,000 ain't going to do it. So you
Right.
always have to think about your own best interest. And not, if that prices you out of the job, so be it. but you have to sell that and show that you're a caring employee, that you've taken the time to do research. I've taken a look at your competitors. I've done some looking at the Chamber of Commerce website about jobs in this area and what they pay. You know, you put a little effort into that and you give them a range, they'll say, well, I know what we can pay you, but also I know that I appreciate you taking the time to research and you're showing me what type of person you are by giving me that type of answer. And so that's important too.
Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned a lot about that in the classes I've taken. Well, I mean, it's good to know that because when I got my job at Tax Auction Investors, I was just starting off as an intern and a place where I already knew the boss. So like I went in for an interview. I didn't talk about salary or anything like you're saying. And I feel like that kind of slowed me down in earning salary and getting out of being an intern.
But when you talk money, you talk money or compensation, you have to draw a fine line. It's almost like you have to, part of a job interview is being able to read and interpret body language. If all of a sudden you say to me, I'm kind of thinking about this salary, and all of a sudden you see me going, my body language goes, oh, I'm not ready for this. The interviewer does this. Then you have to back off because then
Right.
you're making things a little bit uncomfortable. What you want to do in a job interview is you want to develop a rapport, comfort. You want to show that this interviewer trusts you and is going to be a good, loyal employee. And that's difficult to get in an interview, but especially if you can do that, you're going to have a better track to getting the job because you put
Right.
that person at ease and they feel, geez, this dude could work in our office. I like this guy. So that's something you have to think about and how you answer that. And that just comes from practice. When I was in college, I went out and got job interviews at companies I wasn't even interested in. But I wanted to go through the process of the interview. I
Right.
wanted to learn how to interview. And so if you can grab any interviews or job opportunities, even though I'm not doing this, don't let them know that. Just use it as practice to finding how to do things in this. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this is practice so you can do this better and represent yourself better.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions of me, Patrick?
Oh, okay. So you said that you sold your business and now you're a professor. What like recommendations would you have to a transfer student who is new to the college on what I can do to make the best out of my education for the next year that I'll be here?
Yeah, great question, Patrick. And here's my philosophy on transfer students. Transfer students are, in my opinion, one of the most important students at a university because they feel that they want to change their course of their academic progress to go to another institution halfway through their program. That means they really want to do this well. You want to be an active player in the baseball team. You want to participate in your classes because you've already had the experience of being in a community college or another college setting, and now you're wanting to make the effort to change that and better yourself by coming to University of La Verne. I think that's excellent. And my advice to that is, and kind of let what you're doing with Coach Byrne, is you feed off the coach. You get to have the coach know you because you haven't started out as a freshman. The coach, being a freshman, the coach gets to know you more and more every game, every year. As a transfer student, the coach has got to get to know you quickly. What type of
Right.
person you are, what type of teammate you are, what type of player you are. So my advice, in not only in athletics but in academics, is get right into the program. Introduce yourself to professors. So you can be on campus and I go, hey Patrick, how you doing? You'd be surprised a lot. Get to know your faculty members. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Patrick Keller. I'm a transfer from Chaffey, and I play on the baseball team. And I'm a business administration major. And I just want to introduce myself, and I want to get to know you.
Okay.
That's how they get up to speed into the community right off the bat. A lot of faculty don't remember students. Trust me, they don't. They
Yeah.
forget them. But if you introduce yourself and become part of the classroom, part of the discussion, part of the work, part of the team, you'll get up to speed a lot quicker than if you were a freshman, naturally. And that's
Right.
what you want to do. You want to get involved as quickly as possible. And I know this past year, you're probably being very frustrated. You hardly had any games. And does Byrne know you? Does Byrne know you as a player? Well, your job in the off season now is to prove to him and get to know him better. or take his advice, or have discussions with him, or call him up, or have a Zoom meeting with your professors or with somebody you trust. For example, I would expect after our discussion today, I wouldn't mind you giving me a call every now and then, or sending an email saying, Professor Hasse, what's up? What's going on? Here's what I'm doing. You have any recommendations? That's
Okay.
how, as a transfer student, you get involved with the university, and you pick up all that momentum by getting involved with the community, getting involved with the faculty, the staff, coaches. I'm sure you're probably involved with what's his name? Who's the weightlifter guy?
Oh, Matt Durant.
Matt Durant. I'm sure you're probably involved with him, good or
Yeah.
bad. But that's the thing that you need to do, is get involved with those people, introduce yourself to your faculty, get them to know you, get to know what type of person you are. Then you'll get so much more out of the program. You really will, and that'll be to your advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate that advice.
Good. Good. All right. Well, anything else?
That'll be. I mean, you touched on everything. I mean, you answered questions I haven't even asked yet. So I
Good.
appreciate it.
Good. Well, Patrick, again, as I said earlier, I'm now part of your network. Okay. You
Okay.
now can call on me, email me, and use me as a source of information. Do you use LinkedIn, Patrick? LinkedIn?
I do not,
You
but I
should try
can
to.
get on it.
LinkedIn is a business site that you should get involved with. It's a good
Hmm.
place to stay up to date with business trends. It's a good place. I have a lot of former students follow me on LinkedIn. We talk about jobs. There's some former students who work for headhunting firms, job placement firms. It's good to
Okay.
get involved with LinkedIn. So you should take advantage of that and sign up. It's free. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
And it also develops that's the key word, your network. And that's what you're trying to do here, and that's important.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll
All
definitely
right.
get on there. When I was at my old company, I worked on the social media marketing too, and we had a
Oh,
LinkedIn page. So I'm familiar with LinkedIn.
good.
I
Then take
need to
advantage
get
of that.
myself. Yep, I will.
That's a good source of information and knowledge. All right. Well, Patrick, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad I hope this was helpful to you. I want you to keep in touch with me, and let's hope we get back on that ball field next fall, at least start practicing and doing a little bit, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, Patrick. You take care.
Yeah, yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.